Hi, this is Anita from Reluctant Low Carb Life. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking a lot about sugar and different aspects of sugar. If many of you are like me, maybe you can give up some bread or you can give up some of the other things, but sugar may be harder for you. And I want to talk about some of the reasons why that is and why, for many of us, sugar is so difficult for us to give up. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about sugar addiction and caffeine addiction. I used to be really addicted to Diet Coke. I drank a lot of cans of Diet Coke. Maybe there were some days I could have drank 10 or more cans a day. I was drinking more Diet Coke than I was drinking water or anything else. And for a long time, I felt like, well, this doesn't really affect me. Every time I went to the doctor for a physical, my physicals were always fine. I didn't really feel that I had much effect from the drinking of the Diet Coke. But my last physical, my bone density suddenly went down. The year before, my bone density was actually really great. I had a really, sort of high number. And this last year when I went there, my bone density went down. But even then, I didn't think it was much to do with the Diet Coke until I read recently that Diet Coke can affect your bone density. Well, Diet Coke, of course, has a lot of caffeine in it. And so today we're going to talk about sugar versus caffeine. Which one's worse? The average American eats an astounding amount of sugar. We eat about 3 pounds of sugar per week. And this is really huge compared to the fact that the WHO, the World Health Organization, says that we should only be eating a few teaspoons every day, but yet we're eating about 3 pounds a week. That's because sugar is in almost everything that we eat: bread, cereal, mayonnaise, peanut butter, ketchup, spaghetti sauce. And all those meals that you microwave, put in the oven, all the packaged meals, sugar is usually in all of those. So, sugar is actually a substance that we have around us all the time. It is something which is hard to get rid of unless you make an effort to try to get rid of sugar and stop eating things as ultra-processed foods and instead eat whole foods. Caffeine is also a commonly used drug. It's recognized as a drug itself, and it's in coffee, it's in colas, it's in, Diet Coke. It's a very habit-forming substance that, over time it can become very addictive. And that's what I felt when I talked about the beginning there about my Diet Coke, is that I felt like I was very much addicted to Diet Coke. But I want to tell you a little bit about my own personal experience, first with caffeine and then with sugar. When I started giving up caffeine or giving up Diet Coke, at first I thought, oh, this is so hard. I really, really had this taste for it. It was really hard for me to give up. So I started drinking other things. And one of my favorite go-to drinks was soda water, lime, fresh mint. And then sometimes I'd put a little bit of monk fruit sugar in it, which is a very natural type of sugar. Today I drink the same thing, but without any of the sugar, just soda water and lime. But when I got off of Diet Coke, the one thing that I noticed, I look back on it now, is my habit of sleeping. I sleep a lot sounder and I sleep a lot deeper not being on Diet Coke than I did when I was on Diet Coke. And, one of the reasons is that I would, drink Diet Coke a lot of times at night. I would drink it, like even before I went to bed. And I felt like, well, this doesn't really affect me. I'm still sleeping. But now that I'm off of Diet Coke, I could see how much Diet Coke affected my sleep cycle. And I wasn't in as deep of a sleep as I am now, where, I used to wake up a lot of times during the night. I would sort of wake up frequently. And now I pretty much sleep through the night, or I might wake up one time in the night, but I really am sleeping through the night and sleeping a much deeper sleep, and I just don't wake up like I used to. The other thing is kicking or curbing the sugar habit. And I have consistently been doing that over the last few months. I've really been trying to get sugar out of my diet. I've been doing it by not eating all type processed foods at all. I've been trying to, cook all my own foods. And I have just been trying every way I can to get the sugar out of my diet. And I can feel that there's a difference there too, and that I just feel better. If I go back to sugar and eat sugar, then suddenly my bones start hurting me again. I can just feel that I'm aching a bit more all over. But if I cut out the sugar, I just feel better. In 1989, the World Health Organization suggested that women limit their intake of added sugar to a maximum of 6 teaspoons per day and men 9 teaspoons. Now, you think about that. You think about the amount of sugar the average person is eating today, which is 3 pounds of sugar per week, and we're only supposed to be having 6 to 9 teaspoons of sugar a day. It's huge, the difference between what we're supposed to be having. Most people have 48 teaspoons of sugar per day, and some have far above that average. And so really that is one of the reasons why we as people, we should all be looking to say, we need to get sugar out of our diet. We need to go back to whole foods and to healthy foods. I want to tell you something exciting which I've recently heard about, and it's an organization which is called the Kick the Sugar Summit. I actually joined their program last year. I really enjoyed it. They have speakers from all over the world that come and they will talk about everything to do about, kicking the sugar habit. There'll be lots of different, opinions, which you could decide which one's the best one. And it really is very inspirational to be able to hear all these speakers. I'm going to put a link into my podcast, and there'll also be a link to my blog that I've written about caffeine and sugar, where you can go and you can check out the Kick Sugar Summit. Their summit is starting again at the end of September in 2023. It goes on every year. There's a package where you can buy, where you can basically, you can be able to listen to it all year round. You get some other added and additional information with it. So it really is, if you are thinking about, I need to get sugar out of my life, this is a great way to learn about sugar and learn about how damaging sugar can be, and to join with a group and an organization that cares about your sugar intake. This is Anita from Reluctant Low Carb Life. We really appreciate you listening, and we hope that you'll continue to listen, that you'll give us a thumbs up. We appreciate you being part of our community. We'd like to thank you, our audience, for listening to us each week and joining with us to have more of a healthy lifestyle, because that's really what this is all about, is how can we be more healthy? We'd like to thank our team who puts this together, especially Rico, for help making this possible, and thank you so much.